square intro. Hit the
Oh,
button,
yeah.
do the thing. That's how you get the chicken wang wang. Hello, everybody in Facebook Live Land. We are the Podguyz Podcast, bringing it to you as we do, 10:15 Eastern Standard Time. I am Tony Kaz.
Kevin Neary here.
Of course, we have the ever-loving Picasso, the dreamer and doer of all things doodly, the innovator of all things inky, the creator of all things cartoony.
Wow.
Le Sparky.
I'm guessing Tony brought his cue cards today. His kid's probably holding them. Sparky has his own card. He's got the H, the I there. He says hi to the whole audience. For those of you that are just joining us, just first-time watchers, keep an eye on Sparky as he will be drawing what we're talking about in such brilliant artistic work that it'll make your head spin and your face explode into pieces. Tony, we have a fourth square.
We do. We are enamored to have a such a vivid and great guest today. We have fresh from Hollywood on his one of his many directorial films. Of course, we have Nick Leisure. Welcome to the show, sir.
Woo.
Thank you.
By the way, not on the Epstein list.
No, not on the Epstein. Did not make it there, so that's good. That's Nick. You look like your last name. You're kind of laid back there. It's like a leisurely kind of, like you're a chill guy. Is that like a family lineage? Like, did they look at your great grandfather and say, this guy doesn't have a last name, so let's give him one?
No, actually,
I
used to direct a lot of music videos for big artists, Babyface, After Seven, Too Short, Corrupt, stuff like that. And one of my friends that worked with E40 back in the day when I was running around with E40 used to call me Nick Leisure because he said I got everything at my leisure. So if they needed anything for video shoots, airplanes, boats, whatever, all that stuff, I always knew somebody that I could pull it off with. And so it just kind of stuck.
Now, when you're doing a music video, right, you have to, and this is like one thing, the director of Pet Sematary, the movie, she was a music video director to start things off. And I guess it really worked out to her advantage when it was going to scene to scene to scene, because you can kind of structure the mood under a little bit less time constraint. So as weird as it sounds, was directing movies kind of like weights off a bat for you?
No, actually, music videos are way easier because you don't really have to tell a story and have continuity, right?
Oh, really? Yeah.
Cut away to
what are the five basic principles of music video directing, sir?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Let's probably depends on what genre. If you're talking about rap, then you just got.
We're talking rap.
Cash, cars, girls, drinks, nightclub. I don't know, strippers.
There you go. That's all you need.
And you're done. Like, you don't have to worry about the continuity.
A lot of cutscenes, a lot of lip syncing along with it. That's why I could see some of the people I know where they're like, "Hey, I am now directing, rap videos," and you're like, "This looks kind of amateurish," but all of what you just named was all there. Only not the nicest of cars, like a Chevy Malibu from 2007. I'm like, all right, that's.
Yeah, when I started my music video directing days, it was still somewhat good. It wasn't the Hype William days where you get $1 million a video, but still getting pretty good budgets. I mean, we still had some private planes and things like that, and then slowly it started to trickle down when MTV and everything kind of went away, and so it started to go down, and I was like, I'm gonna get into commercial world after that.
Yeah, you got to go where
if you had to play Sophie's choice as far as like which one was your favorite, who would you say it was for, and who would you say what genre it was as well?
Music video wise?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a good question.
they're all different. I did one for Kevon Edmonds when he had his solo album, lead singer of After Seven. When he came out with his solo album, it was probably around 2008, 2009. I think that was probably a game changer for me when it came to my career, kind of stepping to a different level, which led to me doing more After Seven videos and stuff with Babyface and, things like that. So, which ultimately turned into me being a film director, meeting a lot of people.
Now you've done some short films and of course some long feature length films as well.
Mhm.
But let's talk about the ones that you're doing now. You know, what's your babies? You know, coming out right at this moment.
Well, we've got Golden that's dropping on March 20th. That one's Brian Austin
Theaters everywhere.
theaters everywhere, March 20th. It'll be on streaming platforms probably within a day or two nowadays, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that one's
By the way, starring Brian Austin Green.
Brian Austin Green, Mozzie Ferlin, Elena Sevastokova, Josh Gilmer, got Robert Miano, Glenn Plummer's in it. It's a
Awesome.
great movie. It's an awesome movie. It's a crazy movie, but it's uh, pretty cool. I mean,
Can you give a little rundown on the movie, just as far as like
yeah, so
plot
it's
basis?
actually inspired by a true story of a friend of mine, his father, but it's about a guy who turns 50 years old. He's been working for his dad's print shop his whole life and comes up with this scheme to print up counterfeit money and go to Mexico and buy property. And he ends up when he starts spending US money in Mexico that's counterfeit, it starts bringing in problems and cartel and all kinds of things start happening over there. So turns into a crazy thriller, action, little bit of horror type thing, but not really. So yeah.
Now, is that your writing baby as well? As far as did you write the film?
Yes, yes. I had a friend of mine who helped me to kind of like doctor it up at the end, but that's usually what I do as well. Is I don't claim to be the biggest writer in Hollywood or the best, or I write things, I come up with stories, and then I'll get somebody to help me polish it and bounce ideas back and forth and stuff
Ain't
like
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Collaboration is definitely a key point, and you seem like a pretty well-tempered person as far as getting together with people. I'm checking out the trailer as we speak right now. Maybe Tony might want to pop it up there on the screen, but this feels like a lot of action, but not overdone. Like every Schwarzenegger movie in the '90s, where people were just like,
that.
maybe fly a plane into the guy you're trying to get, and,
Yeah,
and he's like, two planes, two.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. No, it's an interesting story. It's like I said, it was inspired by a true story, so I definitely didn't want to do a Mission Impossible with Brian flying out of airplanes and into Mexico and stuff like that. But it's a story that I think everybody can relate to because in the end he really kind of finds out what's really important in life.
now the look he has in the movie kind of, is the character that you think that he should be. A little bit of gray in the beard, a little bit of blonde in the hair, sort of thing. So you know that he's already counterfeiting his hair because of the
Mhm.
grayness, sort of thing. So you get in the sense that this guy can't really be trusted, but can talk his way in and out of sort of situations. And when you're passing around counterfeit bills, you're already, probably, is he buying drugs in the movie? Is he selling? Is he, buying properties or something like that? Women, prostitutes. Once somebody gets caught with the fake money, that's the peak of the movie. Where now, as audience members, you got to just let them sit in their shit a little bit and wait for the action to come to them. Can you
Yep.
tell me a little bit how you structured that scene and how fun that was to get ready?
It was like I said, kind of inspired by a true story. So I just kind of made it more into a movie, and
Mhm.
as we got to that point in the movie, we added some things that weren't in the true story and made some more action stuff happen in Mexico, and we filmed down there. And I wish you guys could see some of the behind the scenes.
Nice. Well, I know a lot of Hollywood happens where, like for example, Moneyball.
Mhm.
Brad Pitt plays Billy Bean, and during the premiere, somebody says to Billy Bean, who's at the premiere, he's like, "I didn't know your daughter played an instrument." He's like, "I don't even have a daughter." So they needed something to show that this guy is just not like a sleazy GM who has a divorce or anything like that. They're like, we need this guy to have an emotional attachment to the audience. So
Yeah.
they're like, maybe he's got a daughter, and they're like, no, but you know what? Put it in there.
Yeah, he does.
And what is she like? It's like, oh, she's fucking lovable. You know what? She plays an instrument, and you know what? Maybe she hates her stepdad a little bit, but not a lot. And really has this good connection with her dad. And, certain Hollywood sleazebags are probably like, oh, so an older man with a younger relationship girl? And they're like, yeah, why are you...
Yeah, why are you Mr. Burning your fingers together like this?
Why are you greasing your hands there, you scumbag? Like, you're liking this storyline a little bit too much. Yeah, maybe we could just make the movie about that and a little bit of baseball. Or, I don't know, you guys are busy.
Nah.
I'll leave the room. Sparky's got something there in the big board.
We'll circle back on that.
Sparky, hit us with that big board action there. See what's going on. And cut. Directing from a reclining chair that is very leisure. As you can see, I know what you're thinking, Nick. Who's the guy?
I know, that'd be great, right?
Chair? That is a spitting image. Now, Sparky, keep that image up there. Nick is wondering who's the guy in the director's chair. That is definitely you. You could tell you're sitting in the chair. That looks just like you. For the non-viewing audience, for our audio audience out there who have never seen the show but love listening, just imagine in your heads how quickly Sparky drew that on nothing but dry erase marker board.
Yeah.
Talent. He's got a lot of
Nick, do you mind if we go right into the trailer? The golden trailer?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I will pop that right up on the old screen. And share sound, optimize, share, and boom.
Boom, indeed.
Did you proof the flyers before you printed them, Frank?
Yes, I proofed the flyers.
A thorough proof or a frank proof?
I'm out of here.
What are you being secretive? The only times you are, it's bad. I thought those days were behind us.
Okay, well, I'd like to be someplace where I want to be.
Making it to 50 is a blessing. I'm gifting you the shop.
You want to do what I want for my birthday? Sell the store.
Go tacos and cheap tobacco. The stench gives you away, Rafael.
If I make you money, you follow my conditions. If you don't have the balls to play, don't play.
No mas.
Don't spend it in the States. What am I going to spend it? Mexico.
Stupid. Was it?
How's the best flyer designer in town doing?
It's a pretty low bar. Oh, there's no us. I fly solo.
Yeah, great chat.
He's a tool.
Cool. I think I'll watch it.
Yeah, that looks great.
Just off the trailer alone, man, that's a good context to be written down. You see the disappointment in the father's eyes. How much would you say is based on the true or actually true? Like a 90-10 split, or are we talking just the opposite?
It's probably about 70% of it.
That's cool though. That's perfectly fine. At least you're upfront with the idea, and say like, all this happened, and then the FBI is at your door like, really?
Yeah, we let that. We left a lot
of embellishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It was crazy though. It was a crazy time. We filmed a big chunk of it in Mexico, in Rosarito, Mexico, and then we filmed the rest of it in Sacramento, Northern California.
Now, how does that go with international, not to say international filming, but like I'm sure there's a lot of red tape that you have to go through in order to get the filming crews and people out there, even for Mexico, of course, but having them and the problems that they've been having lately, there's a lot of stuff going in with like cartels and the bombings and fires and everything that's been going on there lately. So
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff happen during our production. So it's a little wild, But I'd been in Mexico and had a house down in Rosarito actually for a few years, and since I started shooting a clear shot way back there with Mario. I ended up shooting multiple different productions down there at Fox Baja Studios that they built for Titanic and Planet of the Apes and all that stuff. And it was good for a while. It was good for a few years, and then it started to get a little crazy. And this
Mm.
last production, Golden, was the one production that I was like, it's probably time to stop shooting down here for a while.
Is there anything crazy that you could share that was just like where you're like, man, enough is enough?
Well, it just, yeah, it started off really like crazy from the beginning of this production. So the night that I drove down with my DP and a couple crew members to start pre-production in Mexico, we left Los Angeles from a table read, ended up in Rosarito around 10 p.m. Got pulled over by the police at a stop about a block from where my place was at. I happened to be able to get on the phone with somebody before I got fully pulled over. But usually, I could make some calls and call the mayor and call police chiefs and stuff like that. I got pretty connected down there over the years with government and
Nice.
and stuff because you have to be over there if you're going to be over there a lot. And then ended up with this rogue cop that just didn't really care. Just
Oh,
eating like Skittles at the same time while he's like slapping the cuffs on me in the driver's seat, throws my phone out the window, arrests all of us and takes all our money. And that was the beginning of the production. But I mean,
holy
luckily
cow.
the very next morning, same cop had to come back and the police chief came and they brought our money back and had made some calls to some friends down there that
Was the chief like, oh, I'm sorry, that was my kid. He needed cocaine for the night. Game over. Not his fault. We raised him kind of loose.
they apologized for it and they gave the money back and then it became a big thing because the mayor took a picture with us and put it on our Facebook page and the mayor of Rosarito, and so then it became this huge media thing down there, and it was like we really don't want this type of attention while we're shooting a movie down here. So yeah, it got a little bit wild, but I actually changed one of the characters in the movie. There is a big cop in Mexico that is eating Skittles, or actually M&Ms. He's eating M&Ms pretty much the whole time.
You
But
got to throw him in the movie. You have to.
yeah, so that was the start of it, and then and then we ran into problems down there. We dealt with a little bit of cartel stuff. We dealt with a little bit of just issues, and then the last day we were shooting, it started to get to the point where it was like it's time to get out of this country. So
It leaves a sour taste in your mouth, and it like not to say like you expect a little bit of leeway, and not to say a little bit of leeway, but there's a lot of things that you need to do on your end, and you figure, oh man, this is gonna be a breeze, and then you get stupid shit.
Well, let me just say something real quick, Tony. Let me just say something real quick, Tony. Hey, Mexico, when you visit America, we don't treat you like this at all. You can check the news and everything. Okay, so how dare you?
No, but you know what I mean. Like there's things that come up unexpectedly, and you can't expect every expectation to happen exactly like it's planned.
No, that's like literally every stereotype in a movie where you're just driving along with American plates, and they're like, boom, pull you over. 7 guys like, where's all your money? And you're like, I'll call the police. They're like, motherfucker, we are the police. Gangs are up there. They're ready to take your shoes. We leave them take your shoes if you got Jordans or Reeboks on or whatever.
Now, did they take their Mexican tax off the back end of that money, or did you actually get 100% back?
No, we got 100% of it back.
Oh, that's cool. Thank God.
Happened to be that a good friend of mine out there was a lieutenant governor, and yeah, they gave it back.
Oh,
but
that's cool.
The ones that took it weren't very happy about it. They didn't smile very
well
much.
No, of course not.
Isn't that the worst thing when you steal off of innocent people and you just happen to get it?
You're like, oh shucks, I have to give it back.
Gotta ruin their day. They're like, how will we pay for all these drugs now? Well, I guess you'll have to get jobs. don't know, man. I don't know what their punishment would be, but Sparky has a punishment for us all on the big board.
He
Sparky,
does.
what is going on with that board today? Sparky, what would you do with all that counterfeit money? I am going to Beverly Hills 90210.
Ah! That's a Brian Austin Green reference right there.
They had some tough storylines in that TV series where, people were going to the prom and they're like, yeah, that kid's on heroin, that kid's got AIDS, that kid's got, and nowadays, it's also, by the way, ahead of its time. Nowadays, they're like, that kid's got AIDS, that kid's got, it's very reflective of society today, minus the cell phones. But some of the kids still had cell phones in the show. Nick, were you a 90210 watcher, or were you more of a Party of Five guy, or were you like, I didn't fucking look at any of that crap?
I think I did watch No 2. I mean, I know I did. I wouldn't say I was a diehard like I needed to.
No. Yeah, there's never a die-hard 90210 fan.
I could always pick out the producer's daughter, because you look at the crew and you're like, good looking. Producer's daughter, good looking.
I can say anything about some of these people that I may know.
I'm just saying, like, if
Nick has the deets and the receipts.
If we were to play the game Guess Who, and the game was called Guess the Producer's Daughter, I'm throwing it out there, I'd be right or the wrong.
My memory of those days was probably like either you were watching 90210 or you were watching the news or something. And I was young, so I was like, I guess I'm watching 90210, right?
90210. It was kind of the
come on, it's the same as like Saved by the Bell. It was
no.
The same
Well, I was gonna touch base on Saved by the Bell, where Saved by the Bell was more for kids, and then they're like, hey, let's take away the laugh track and throw in some sex scenes, and
talked about that today too with Mario.
Right.
Jesus.
Yeah,
he's in a whole heap of trouble in the past 2 years now.
Who's that?
Mario.
Oh yeah.
Mario Lopez.
A little bit.
Now, do you Nick, in your in your history of being in the Hollywood Hills, of course, you've seen your fair share of shit.
Yeah,
you've seen your fair share of shit.
But I never went to Diddy parties, and I never hung out with Epstein. So
look at that. We got him.
Yeah. Congratulations, sir. Congrats.
I could tell because you don't have, for people that can't see, Nick is wearing absolutely zero baby oil right now. You can tell.
True.
That is true. No extra shine going on at all.
No, he looks very moisturized though. Do you moisturize?
I mean, I throw lotion on.
Yeah, no wrinkles, nothing like that. But that's. Did you see how people were when Diddy did go to jail? People were like, "Oh my God, he aged," and that's what jail does to you. And I'm thinking to myself, Diddy's like 60 years old. He's been dyeing his hair and wearing, the blood of virgins probably as a cleansing mask. He doesn't have all that in jail. That's there were cell phones released where he already was having a Diddy party in jail where he's like, yo, man, toilet wine, C block. Yeah, everybody's like, what the fuck? Of course we're coming.
Everybody is.
Even the guards were there. They were like, yeah, this is all right. How did Justin Bieber get here though? Wasn't Justin Bieber, just a Justin Bieber lookalike. Those kids, they're going to jail even earlier, trying to get their street cred up, of course. It's the one thing they look for in an FHA mortgage, not just your regular credit.
You know what I do have to give you credit for though, Nick?
What's that?
I don't know if you've ever looked at your IMDb.
No, probably not.
No? All right. So in your IMDb, every picture that you have in there looks like it's from a GQ magazine.
Oh, yeah. No, that's for sure.
Dude, it's crazy.
He looks like he should be wearing a watch.
Like you either got like the hands going in like this, or you got like, He
is wearing a watch, right?
Yeah, you're doing something crazy. But
so I got to add some, like, I don't know, something where I'm just sitting at a park and I don't know.
Yeah, no, every single one of them is like a magazine cover.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great.
Sitting in a park looking like a fucking
you-
Breaking Bad character or something like that. Like, come on, man.
So that brings to my question.
Yeah.
You know, you've of course done reading and directing. Have you ever done a lot of acting?
I've done some acting. I started my career in acting, did short films and some low budget independent stuff, a lot of commercial work in the beginning. And that's what drove me into being a director because I was ready to move to Hollywood and did not want to be a struggling waiter.
Actor. Oh, yeah.
So I said, I might as well pick up a camera and learn how to shoot. And I was lucky to be able to work with some really great DPs and learn cinematography and studied the shit out of that for years. And first started shooting a lot of stuff in the
Now,
beginning.
Nick, to blatantly interrupt you there, have to do it. Is that where you got the title for the movie, A Clear Shot?
No, actually, originally the script was called Bad Currency. And we were shooting it, we were getting ready to shoot it in Mexico before COVID hit with completely different actors. And our lead actor, I won't say his name, but he was kind of a bitch. And so, like, he stopped at the border and was like, I'm not coming because I'll never be able to get back across the border with COVID and everything that's happening. And we're sitting there like, how do we film? And this wasn't Brian Austin Green. This was a completely different person that this was a headache.
I like how you had to do a little bit to base it in 1991. It's a drama thriller inspired by a true event in Sacramento, California, 1991.
Oh, you're talking about A Clear Shot.
A Clear Shot. Yes. A Clear Shot.
Golden. No, it's
No. You said you were shooting a lot. You want to learn how to shoot. And I said, is that where you got the inspiration or the title for the movie, A Clear Shot?
I thought we were talking about Golden still.
We were, yeah, we were. But I was looking at this one and I'm like, oh man, off
Clear
of leisureFilms.com. If you were looking for a collection of movies just to binge for a couple days, A Clear Shot.
Yeah, so Clear Shot, I was actually in the parking lot when that actually happened in 1991. That friend that lived down the street, it was close to our neighborhood when everything was down with that shooting. And, we saw it on the news. It was a all day long standoff. So I don't
remember this. I was alive in 91, but I was East Coast alive, like West Coast. That was going on the West Coast.
That was in Sacramento. Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
And so it was one of those things where I said at some point in time, I'll probably turn this into a movie, and I did.
Hostage negotiator Gomez is no stranger to tense situations that demands a cool head. He realizes, by the way, this description was written before ChatGPT was a thing. So somebody actually had to do the work for it. I love how when people describe ChatGPT and they're like, we've never had anything like this before or something, that'll just do whatever you want for free. And I'm like, I think we have. And we don't for a reason now. And they're like, no, we haven't. What would you call that? And I'm just, amongst myself. As negotiations wear on and nerves become more and more frayed on all sides. I have never seen that on the news, even in 91. 91, I mean, man, it feels like forever ago. So there was... So what happened there?
Guys. It was called The Good Guys. It was an electronics store. There was The Good Guys and there was Circuit City at the time. Those two electronic stores. And
yeah.
You look at The Good Guys shooting in 1991. You'll see there's a ton of news coverage on that. That even when you watch the trailer of that movie, it's very similar to a lot of the news stuff that's happening.
So why'd they shoot up the place? What was going on? What was the disagreement? Somebody wanted to bring back their fucking VCR or something, and then they're like, "That's it. There's no way."
It was 4 young gunmen that decided that they were tired of being teased in the US and they grabbed some guns and said, we're going to go to this store and start taking hostages. And they weren't, they didn't have ChatGPT back then to think about stuff for themselves, So,
yeah, I know. So
they didn't think it through. So they had these crazy things that they said, well, we want a helicopter and we want ginseng and we want you to fly us out of here. crazy stuff. They wanted body
I need
armor.
antacids for my stomach.
They were talking about how they wanted body armor, like like RoboCop and stuff like that. And it was, they were essentially kids that were, didn't think very well.
This
And,
is what feels like a really good movie to do a character development and character study on since they're younger kids, and there's a lot that goes into why someone would do something so extreme, where they come from, what it's all about, and even the negotiator can't feel like he's getting a win out of this because the kids don't really, they react sometimes just physically, emotionally, no one knows what's really going through the heads until you get into it. This is one that I'm definitely going to put on the TV tonight. A clear shot. I'm just to play catch up with your work here, honestly.
So I gotta ask a question, Nick. Of course, you're going over your repertoire of movies, your filmography, of course, and your writing ability has really taken its and not to say it's peak and golden, but where did you learn to write for film?
by reading a lot of scripts.
Okay.
Reading a lot of scripts, and I did some, YouTube as well, watching a lot of like structure on YouTube and script writing and screenwriting, like programs that you get on YouTube, and then also working with other writers, like really good writers, and that's where I started to, and I still feel like I've got a lot to learn when it comes to writing.
Oh, 100%, of course.
I
So what would be your I guess your coup d'etat as far as like, trying to tell an inspiring writer or somebody with a good film idea, like what kind of advice do you have for them in order to make that particular film?
do a lot of research on what you're going to write about, and I just adopted this new kind of twisted method so I partnered with Kevin Scott Frakes, who wrote Hereditary and EP like John Wick and Split and a bunch of stuff. So this is a recent thing that we just recently did, and he's writing a script for me right now about another Sacramento story. But his method it's a horror thing. Have you ever watched Worst Roommate Ever on Netflix? There was a lady in Sacramento that buried a bunch of people in her backyard to take checks and stuff like that. So we're writing this story about Dorothea, that's her name, and he's telling me his process of how he's like walking around the bathroom where she murdered this guy, and he's physically walking around his bathtub, and he's recording like his thoughts and how I would do this if I'm going to kill somebody, and things like that. And then he goes back and kind of plays it back. So I'm starting to get into that part of it now, whereas I didn't before. Before it was just, let me just put what's on in my mind on a piece of paper and on the screen, and just start writing, and then start dialing it in more, and then reading it back later and figuring it out and chopping it down, and because you want the story to always be driving forward and not be 2 hours long or 3 hours long like The Irishman we talked about. But
That's true.
Figuring out those things, and figuring, for me as a director too, visualizing like what is going to happen when I'm filming this and what the audience is going to see while they watch this later. Is it going to be very stale, or or do I need something here that's going to really, make them jump out of their seats a little bit? So
yeah, the and it's not a bad process to go through when you're critical on yourself, and then you could find if I can find friends that'll lie to me, right? And they're like, oh
by the
my
way,
God,
Sparky.
and they're like, oh my God, that's great. This is amazing. I'm like, okay, now I got to change it but I won't say that out loud. I'll be like, oh wow, thanks for your opinion. I really, that's why I brought you over here. I value, your honesty. And they're like, hey man, if there's one thing I could be, it's like, I know what you are.
But you gotta find the friend that you gotta find the friend that hates everything you do and says it sucks all the time. And then when he says it's good or it's okay, then it's a good one.
Sometimes those people are just idiots though. where they like one thing and they're like, yeah, man, but why can't it be Pokemon? It's like, because what the fuck is wrong with you, man? What are you talking about? This has nothing to do with that.
Just make shit. Just make shit. And there's too many people that sit at home and they think about making shit and they're trying to figure it out, and they're like, they think they're going to be ready in a year or 2 or 3, or I'm like, just make shit. Just create.
Just do it anyways. Get the angles down. Do what you want to do.
Make some shitty movies before you make some good movies.
Yeah.
I made some shitty movies.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't.
What, Nick, what are you, speaking of that, just for inspirational stuff, right? What was by far the shittiest thing you ever did? And you said to yourself nowadays, where you look back, you laugh on it and say, man, that was so shitty. But it is.
Movie-wise?
Just one scene.
Anything.
Just one scene, one little blip,
one
first thing that comes to mind where you're like,
there's fun. I mean, I did a movie called Janitors that, we had like no budget basically on that thing. I did another movie called The Lot, and some people still love it and they think it's funny and stuff. I look back on it and I just kind of cringe now, because obviously you get better at filmmaking and you get bigger budgets and you have access to more cast and crew, and things change and lighting, and you start seeing things. So every time I do another movie, I feel like it's better than the last one. I just want to always continue to be better than the last production.
Now that you did bring up Janitors, I did see the movie. I didn't watch it, but I did see the front of it. And I always say you can tell what a good movie is by the uglier the people are in it. Because if there's ugly people in it, and you're still willing to watch it, they had to be better actors than what their faces have brought to the table. Okay. Sure. And if there's too many, another rule number 2, if there are more than 3 people in the promo poster, holy shit, a lot of egos in the room and unnecessary. So for when you say Janitors, I'm counting 7 on here, so that's like a bugaboo. I'm like, okay, 7, and then there's a car, for no reason. Everyone's doing different poses, so it's just it looks like when doing comedy shows, you have people that are just like boom, photoshopped in there, and just thrown on the poster, see what you can have, see whoever's staring at it while taking a piss in the bathroom, sort of thing. And this isn't a bad concept for a movie, because I was wanting to bring this one up. Just as 3 struggling friends and co-workers, Jamal, Little Jimmy, and Midget, are working as janitors when they find a scandalous video that could finally lift them from working class stiffs. The star of the record. So that right there, right off the bat, you got 3 people working together, just happen to be friends, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have a plot device.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people meet in real life.
It is,
by the way.
But just to go with what you're talking about right there, all those people on the cover, the movie I did after Golden, New Year's Absolution with Michael Copon.
Yep.
The poster's right here. It has a dog on the front.
That's okay. No, that's good. That's good. It. That's perfectly fine. Yeah. One dog. One dog, a very cryptic.
Multiple dogs, not so much.
Multiple dogs.
If you got 8 dogs on the front, then it's a problem.
It's a little too busy.
Tony, 101 Dalmatians. Guess how many dogs they had in the poster?
2.
And the name of the movie, by the way, was 101 Dalmatians. They didn't throw them all the fuck on there. No. They let everybody know, wait a second. They're telling us there's more Dalmatians. We only see 2, but
they had the mom and dad. The mom and dad Dalmatians.
That's all we need to know. All we need to know is that they're fucking eventually. Like we get to see some doggy style stuff. It's PG. You can get to talk to your kids about how dogs are doing it, and then they don't show the sex with the dog. So that's
it's all simulated.
Thank God for that. Thank God for simulated 101 Dalmatians, and of course not showing the scene of the mother having all of those dogs, because holy crap. Whew. Sparky, turn that big board around.
You want me to film me mopping the floor for 2 hours? Yes, it's called Janitors.
Now that I would watch. That is a black and white indie flick right there.
Silent.
And by the way, that's Sparky mopping the floor.
Silent film. Bring silent films back with just that dude and somebody playing a violin, but we can't hear the violin. We just know that it should be going on to some sad music. I always,
say violin playing.
Some fucking guy mopping the floor screaming.
Yeah,
should have been
it's
a
short
cowboy.
film, very short film. Just Sparky mopping the floor. You need a background laugh track, and then clapping at the end when he's done. That'd be great.
A private detective, a former pimp, and an angry ex-convict are only the obvious obstacles our boys must overcome. Now, that's a lot of stuff going on there. Yeah. You have 3 characters to start, and now you're like, well, 3 opposing enemies on top of the whole thing. It gives the horrible bosses 3-on-3 field, so you're kind of like going 3 character arcs right there, which is fine. Lucky for them.
You know what that movie was about? It was about having a job. Because at the time in my career, it was like, do you want to direct this movie? I've got this script. And I was like, let me read it. And I was like, how much are you going to pay me to do this?
It doesn't feel, watch as a comedy. It doesn't feel bad. I did a movie the one time. It was called Soda Jerks, right? Mm-hmm. And it was about 4 guys. We're already at an uncomfortable number of characters interacting. 4 guys, right? Working for a soda company. That and they had to train new people, but they were so convinced that these new people were going to take their overtime hours that they wanted to train them bad. So that way they would either be fired, quit, or, they'd get like a day off because they'd have to shut down the plant or whatever. But they trained them so bad that the soda company went out of business anyways. And, there are some comedy hijinks around the way, just like your typical kind of, assume what you think would already happen in any episode of Three's Company, and that's basically it. Minor cursing going on, and when I say minor cursing, there was a kid on set who wanted to be in the movie, and my idea was, let's just have this be the only character that curses a lot, or it's just like a kid, just white kid just saying all this, he can't say the words. He can't say without the word saying fucking or asshole or, like every curse word he could possibly think of, right? Mm-hmm. Kid was great on set. Everyone played off of him, which is, his scenes were probably the most captivating because you're like, what? Who taught your kid how to curse? And then the one character's like, I don't know. I don't curse. My wife doesn't curse. Maybe he has Tourette's. So, some funny scenes there, but no, man, you have to make the best of what you got, especially if you don't have anything but one thing. And the obviously the a couple of things are out of your control right there. The movie poster is out of your control. The exact play-by-play on dialogue is out of your control. But with the one thing in your control, camera angle, right? Camera angle, and attitude and behavior towards each other. If people are playing the character too close to themselves, they just have to know this, you're here to play somebody else, not yourself.
Right.
The whole thing. As
No, I've heard recently that Shia LaBeouf was playing himself in Louisiana.
I think it's LaBeouf. It's Shia LaBeouf, Tony. LaBeouf is what you do in a
LaBeouf.
LaBeouf is what you do with
cigarettes.
He's
a LaBeouffer this week.
LaBeouf is what you do with cigarettes in a French prison.
Okay? Well, he went to prison.
LaBeouf.
Or I should say he went to jail.
Yeah, that was
because he was acting like an idiot.
That wasn't too smart of him.
Well, he assumed that
you know what? Like now the dude has made a name for himself where he was in and out of different rehabs, and I get that he was trying to get his life together, and ever since like the pinnacle of Transformers for him, mm-hmm. It was always down, 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 and there were people that were trying to rope him back in, and they're like, "Hey, Shia, if we get this back, man, we're gonna be back on top." Yeah. And he's hitting the sauce, and he doesn't make very good decisions.
Tony, every time he gets broken up with, he gets a DUI. Do you notice that?
Yeah.
Megan Fox broken up, DUI. Now this is like I could go through the list of him and the female rejection. don't get along. The one movie I did watch of his, and it's kind of inward but inwardly reflective, is Honey Boy. Honey Boy. The that was about, he plays his father, Tony, if you're wondering. So look up the movie. It's very good.
No, I remember seeing it, but I don't remember the plot to the movie.
Okay, so Shia LaBeouf plays his own father, right, from reality, and then he casts his son as himself.
Okay.
And it kind of shows their relationship or lack thereof. And, like he was away from his mother for such amount of time, and his father didn't make him feel like much more than when you're a child actor, you're making the money, but you are also being used as much as possible. And, it's...
So, Nick, the major question needs to be, as far as these method actors, have you ever come across somebody that you were, not necessarily because you probably work with a casting agency as far as your movies, or do you personally pick somebody for your movies and you're like, oh man, I want this, and this, and this?
So the last 3 movies I did, I cast with one of my producers without a casting agent. Before that, when I first met Brian, we were using a casting agent. But I do come up with a list of characters that I would want to go after. And if, 9 times out of 10, I know somebody that knows that person, so I'll make that call first and not have to use a casting director. But
so knowing that, have you ever come across somebody that you were like, and not to name names, because you don't have to name names, just yes or no question. Have you ever come across that actor that had come across your desk and was like, and then you're like, I think we're going to hard pass on it, just because he or she had something going on?
Yeah, many times. I mean, I've had actors come across my desk that I wanted to work with that distribution would not work with, because they had scandals happening, at the time. And there's been, it's Hollywood. There's actors that I looked up to growing up and wanted to work with, and one in particular and then I met him at a bar when I was out with some other actor friends, and he was drunk, and
Charlie Sheen.
And I was
Charlie Sheen. I knew it.
Him no more. And he came across my desk, and I was like, nope, not casting him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, and you have to. I mean, you have to get to that point where you're like, you're directing, writing movies, and you're like, oh man, I have something in my head as far as the lead role, supporting roles, supporting characters, such as Skittle Cop. Like there's a person that you want. And not necessarily mentally, but mentally you have to jump into each character's position as well.
Yeah. I think just as like from the quick trailer of the movie Golden, for all of you that are just joining us, we did have some more people hop right on. The movie Golden kind of has the same feel a little bit as the movie Blow with Johnny Depp, right? It has that kind of, your main character's doing something illegal. You're rooting for him, and you kind of shouldn't be, because main character's coming off super likable and a little dickish at the same time, but not too much where you're like, I just where he comes off unlikable and you want the movie to be over with, sort of thing. So I think that is a precise balancing act. And the cast, as far as like, who to pick for the role, Nick, I think you had in mind when writing dialogue who could deliver these lines while also walking that tightrope. Am I right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
It's a tricky, and it's tricky. They for example, we're here in Scranton, Pennsylvania, or the northeastern Pennsylvania. So Scranton had the TV show The Office, and Michael Scott, played by Steve Carell, season 1, they wanted him to do just like a play-by-play angry boss thing. Ratings were dipshit in the mud because people just enjoyed turning the channel enough. He was just unlikable. And then season 2, they kind of found a way where he's still kind of a prick, but
But
the
zany stupidity.
the likability was just way too high for you to want to mash up all around. The Brian Austin Green, though, just his performance in the trailer, you can kind of tell is going to head into a little bit closer of a rock bottom, like he's teetering. His character is already kind of teetering. We know he's there. His father gives him a store, is what we know from the trailer, right?
Mm-hmm.
That he doesn't want anything to do with. Now, how many people would want like a store? So you're like, wow, this guy's kind of entitled a little bit. But then the look on his father's face, and I think it's good reflective acting, is almost like as if he already knows he's not giving his son anything good anyways. So I think after he gives him like, hey, maybe just sell the store and that'll be my present sort of thing. But I think the reaction from the father's character, whoever's playing him, I didn't recognize him right off the bat, but who plays the father in the movie?
Robert Miano.
Okay, I'll look him up because
the legend. He's been in Hollywood.
Yeah, he's been in a ton of shit.
So he was Al Pacino's boss and Donnie Brasco. He's been around a long time.
Okay, that's okay. So Robert Miano.
Fast and the Furious. He's been in a ton of stuff. So
Miano. Okay, yeah, that. He kind of looks familiar, but yeah,
he's up there. Robert's up there. I think he's like 85 or something now, somewhere around that age.
I didn't know that the one dude from he played the dude on Breaking Bad, Salamanca. He was in the movie Scarface way back in the day. Not as like a main character sort of thing, but he was just there as the dude to stand there and point towards the helicopter for like a quick moment. But yeah, his reflecting of that line kind of sends a message to audiences that are paying attention. And I like the dialogue too, because you don't have to, start up where you're like, as you know, we have a store that does X, Y, and like you don't have to yell out these details. You can let that unfold for the audience. My wife drives me nuts sometimes when we're watching a movie when she's like, well, why are they doing this? I'm like, well, maybe they'll tell us, or maybe they already did. Maybe that already happened.
Yeah.
Now, Nick, do you preferably have a dream person that you would love to work with and love to have in your movies, but then they're just not to say evading more, but like every time they happen to be at the same place, same time, same thing, and you're like, oh man, I'd love to get this done. Let's happen to do this. And they dodge you for a little bit.
No, I don't have any of those people yet. I mean, I'm consistently talking to people all the time. And there's, Hollywood is a crazy business. There's a lot of
super crazy business. Yeah.
You look at certain people and I go, oh man, that guy, he's a fucking dick or something, right? And then you meet him in person, like, oh, he's actually one of the nicest guys ever. And then sometimes you meet guys that are like, you think are really chill and cool, and then you meet him in person, you're like, oh, I'll never work with him.
One or two. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Better actor in your opinion. Now, there is no wrong answer. Can't stress that enough. Lightning round. Clint Eastwood or Jack Nicholson?
Nicholson.
Okay. All right. I like the quickness of the answer too.
Yeah.
The jeez. Why would you say Nicholson now? Just real quick.
I think just because I relate to his characters a lot more because of my age, and obviously Eastwood is a legend, and he's 90 something now, and he's a great actor. Can't take that away from him.
Correct.
I like those movies I grew up on, The Shining and the things that you watched, and
I'm leaning that way too, but I was getting on a little bit of a binge of Dirty Harry movie one-liners, just the lines from the movie. The movie's got kind of draggy in a Roman Polanski kind of way. But okay. Quentin Tarantino or Guy Ritchie?
Tarantino.
Okay. All right. That's I would lean that way as well. Not to take anything away from Guy Ritchie though. No. He has had some amazing movies all around, Snatch being one of them. I would say Sherlock Holmes would not be one of them, because that script has been, there's certain scripts that just need to go away. Sherlock Holmes, go away already. No one can do that movie because it's a good book, I guess, right? Maybe it was groundbreaking at one time, but we've seen a detective do this a million times, and no one has done it better than Columbo. Straight out Peter Falk doing his thing.
I like that he's not afraid to go above and beyond shit and splatter blood everywhere. That's unrealistic,
It's unrealistic, but it's fun. It's a fun add-on. I mean, Reservoir Dogs was, I would say, just an attention grabber from start to finish. Like you couldn't just the starting where you're like, the credits are going now. Dude Mr. Orange is screaming in the back seat. The things that leave audiences curious, right? And you want a curious audience to be there, because the people that are more vapid, that take a more vapid, campy approach to movies, will wonder why no one else is leaving and want to sit down and stay anyways. And it's going to open up their mind to exactly what the story is telling regardless. It'll take them on a journey, and it'll just make every other movie that they watch just complete and total garbage. Speaking of complete and total garbage, every James Bond movie, except for the Connery ones, pretty much garbage. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, Tony. And you know why?
Pierce Brosnan.
I mean, it's like, okay, so the GoldenEye thing, that's more of like a video game-ish kind of thing, all right? These aren't, a secret agent doesn't go up to you and tell you his first, last name, what kind of car he drives, how he likes his drink, and who he's fucking, okay? You gave me all your information there. This is basically a cartoon now, but they want to, promote it as the Mission Impossible movies. They jump the shark a lot, but not as much as 007, James Bond kind of stuff. And I get it. They're supposed to be, they're coming from the...
but there's a cash grab in Hollywood. And you have to think of it as, the right place at the right time, having the right audience. And even before the pandemic, I'm sure, Nick, you can also attest to this. There was a different dichotomy of people that were going to the movies to pay for theater stuff. Now everybody is into streaming, direct to movie, direct to stream, boom, 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 boom.
Well, the demographics they get from these direct to stream things, the algorithms on what people are watching, what they're rating things, they want to know how to get more money. And they not only do they want to know how to get more money, but they want to know who their audience is, what their name is, email address, what their interests are. They want to get so far in the head of their audiences that they don't even want to have to think about their next script. They'll have ChatGPT write it. And Nick, that just takes away the exact reason why people are creating, because ChatGPT makes some pretty cool shit sometimes. Did you ever see Uncle Bus? Nobody has. It's a ChatGPT trailer. Uncle Bus starring Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks plays the uncle of a child, and he dies in this movie, but is reincarnated. His soul is reincarnated into a bus that it can only telepathically talk to his nephew, telling his nephew that he has to get in his bus and drag race the devil at midnight on Halloween, or the rest of humanity will turn into buses. Uncle Bus. Now, hey.
Now it sounds like a great B-rated horror movie. That's what it sounds like.
This is a really good it's not a sequel,
It's original. It is original.
Tom Hanks was on drugs, completely broke and looking like Shia LaBeouf. I might actually think it was real.
Tom Hanks on Castaway looks like he didn't go to Little James Island now. It looks like he hit the wrong island up, where he's like, well said. And everybody's like, is he fucking the ball over there? Like, get over here, man.
Sparky does have something on the big board. Flip that around, Spark. What do you got?
Flip it around. It says, Guy Ritchie filming Snatch. Hey, Madonna, are you in the bedroom? Here comes the tree. Oh God! On a fun note from the movie Castaway, Tom Hanks' wife did not want the ball to be a Spalding. She wanted it to be a Wilson. That way she could hear her husband scream out her last name the whole movie. That's a little bit of a
Rita!
Yeah. Wilson! She's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fucking lose a fingernail to this one tonight, you know?
Yeah. So Nick, we need to go into your newest movies. You have something else other than Golden going on.
Yeah.
What can you share with us about that one?
I have New Year's Absolution. That one's dropping in July. So yeah, that's an interesting one about a group of friends that get together every year and they write different things down and put it in a hat, and you got to pick it out, and whatever you pick out, you got to do that year. So it could be, you got to get in good shape this year, you got to lose 20 pounds, you got to find a better job, whatever. So they do this every year. And then this year, one of the guys that happens to be a police officer pulls one out and it says kill someone. And then it starts going downhill because he doesn't think it's funny, and everybody else claims they didn't write that, and then people start dying in the house on New Year's, one after another.
That's pretty cool, though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a really good idea for a movie.
Yeah. So that's the next one in July, and then I just finished a horror film with Charlotte Kirk called The Last Bride, where I didn't write that, and that was brought to me and asked me if I wanted to direct it, and so I read it, and I said this will be fun. So we shot it out in the middle of the woods in Northern California. It was freezing cold, and it's about this guy who like meets girls in inner city and then tracks them to come out to live with his brothers in the middle of the woods. And his mother had died, and she comes back as a ghost, and they're trying to make her happy by marrying these women that can't leave. They're kept there. And so Charlotte stars in that one, and it's pretty crazy. It's pretty gruesome, and that one's the most gruesome one I've done. And
now, is that the movie that you spent, or not to say spent the most time on special effects, but more practical effects or special effects type of stuff in your movie?
Yeah, so we had some really great crew members that worked on that one, and the special effects was incredible on it, but also practical stuff that we did. A buddy of mine, Anton, who worked on Roma, and won a bunch of awards for that and stuff. He created some practical things like fingers flying off and blood squirting out everywhere, and
that's cool.
It's pretty crazy. It's not Tarantino-ish, but it's very gory and shit happens. People fly.
Do you know Tarantino wrote himself into the vampire movie to suck on the toes of
He's got a foot fetish or something?
He's got a foot
fetish. And in that movie he was like he wrote himself the part to pour vodka or tequila or something down her leg and suck the tequila off of her toes.
I mean, very good friend of Harvey Weinstein, by the way. Who would have thought, right? With casting yourself in a scene like that. I mean, I guess to get yourself casted, he had to jerk himself off. That was
Whoa!
What? No,
whoa! Come on!
Yeah, it's a self-sexual manipulations thing.
Yeah.
But Tony, I did see a movie last night, right? And there's an actor where
you saw a movie, sir.
So, Nick, have you ever seen an actor where you're like, I don't know if he could pull this off?
As far as the character that I'm looking at?
Yeah. So, okay.
I cut one out of the last movie, out of Golden. I cut one out that actually was a pretty big actor in Mexico and was on a major Netflix series and could not pull off the role that we wanted. So we had to change the role and add a new actor.
And that is something I can completely respect you for wholeheartedly, because it takes a lot of work to look at something that is 95% good and then scrap it for that extra 5%. And that's,
because
serious
actor, especially nowadays, you get somebody, you just get one bad actor that's that bad, then everybody pays attention to just that bad actor.
Like that TV series, Criminal Minds, that dude with the goatee, and I'm like, he does not belong here. Just even Greg from Dharma, Greg was in that. I'm like, what the fuck? Is this everybody that couldn't get cast in Law and Order? It feels like a second tier show. So the actor I'm speaking of right now, Hugh Grant. Are you familiar with Hugh Grant? Okay, so he to his credit and discredit, he could never do an American accent. It's not his thing. No one's expecting him to do an American accent.
Mm-hmm.
He's in this new movie called Heretic. All right.
Heretic.
2024. It's new to me. I saw it last night, where he invites 2 Mormon girls in. You know, they knock door to door to his house, and he's supposed to play this very psychopathic character. But it's just Hugh Grant in a pair of glasses, and I'm like, you girls should not be that worried. It's just Hugh Grant. You could probably kick it. You could probably kick
He's
his
a very
ass, you know?
passive, loving person, that has
still,
that very homey look.
Tony, he's still doing his stammering, where he's like, oh, by the way, girls. I'm like, shit. But Nick, the thing is, I think they had an actor in mind who might have been perfect for it. But Hugh Grant knocks at your door, and you're like, whoa, Hugh Grant, what are you doing here? I read the script. Oh, well, good for you. So we're all good. No, I'd like to play the character. What? How do you say, Nick, have you ever been in the position where you are faced with a 5-star actor like a Hugh Grant, but you know they are not worth the character? You know it. Like, what?
Who's the most overrated actor in Hollywood right now, Nick?
Like,
who is it?
If Nicolas Cage came up to you and said, "Hey, I'd like to play Tupac," and you're like, "What the fuck? No, you can't do it." You know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Shia LaBeouf wasn't available for that movie.
Yeah, in your face, Shia.
Yeah, nothing like, how about Indiana Jones? Indiana Jones, the sequel after that, they're like, so you never had kids, Indiana? And I'm like, what about the last movie? They're like, no, they just aborted him from the movie.
Yeah, gone.
Took him right out. But yeah, Hugh Grant was in it, and there was, man, I think there was maybe like 1 or 2 scenes where I'm like, oh, maybe he's getting it. But I'm like, as an audience member, I shouldn't know the fuck that you're Hugh Grant, right? You should make me believe that you are a completely different person. I'll give you an example. Forrest Gump. Wow. Great movie, right? But then when they send Tom Hanks to space in Apollo 13, I'm like, what the fuck is Forrest Gump doing in space? No wonder the goddamn mission's gone to shit. He should be on the boat with Lieutenant Dan right now. It's sometimes you could just nail a role way too hard to the point where everything you do after that is just you playing a guy, and the audience is just left with the they know that it's a good actor, they know that it's a different storyline to a degree, but it's not like they're running out of actors in Hollywood to cast in these roles. So there are some actors out there that think that they have this kind of range, Daniel Day-Lewis. And then when you watch Gangs of New York and you watch There Will Be Blood, that's the same fucking accent you're doing, Mr. Rangy actor guy. It's the same guy. You got the same mustache. And then when they fucking put him in Abraham Lincoln, I'm pretty sure he played Lincoln. Man, I could only take no, I'm lying. 8 minutes. I was going to say 9. 8 minutes of that script, because there's no way. It was too fabricated. It was maybe 5% truth for the first 8 minutes. Sparky, flip around that big board there, my man, before I keep rambling on here like a maniac. Hey, why did I get, you got to sleep with the producer's daughter? She is not that ugly. What?
There was an actor who came out just recently, and he was talking about the hard time that he's having in Hollywood right now. Brian Baumgartner from The Office, he played Kevin.
Okay.
And he was talking about how he's constantly being typecast for the Kevin character in everything that he's been trying to get. And do you think that there's a problem in Hollywood where people obviously get typecast into a specific thing, but are always trying to branch out into something else? And the reason why I say that is because, like, even Adam Sandler recently was trying to get his acting chops in, and he starred in a couple movies that were a little more serious, and they worked out really, really well for him. But all he's really known for is his comedy and, like, stupid hijinks from all of the movies, of course, that he's been in his lifetime.
Sure.
But I feel like in Hollywood, there's quite a few stereotypes that you have to pass through in order to be like, oh, stunt actor, what's his name, Tom Cruise. Like, Tom Cruise does mostly his own stunts when he's in a movie. Yep. And he asked specifically, hey, I don't need a stunt coordinator, or I need a stunt coordinator, but I don't need a stunt man to do the stunts for me.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do your movies, do you do this? Not to say do you do the same, but do you have a stunt coordinator that does stunts for you? Or are there actors that are like, hey, I want to do this, it makes it more believable for the movie?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had heavy stunts yet. So most of the actors that I've worked with have done their own stunts. Brian did all his own stuff in Golden. There were some times where we were a little like, you're riding on the back of a motorcycle in the middle of Mexico on a sketchy road really fast, and we're filming. Okay, 1 or 2 takes, and that's it.
You know what I could respect about Brian Austin Green? He never did what Kevin from The Office did. Okay, getting up and bitching about typecasting is. Then lose a lot of weight, man. Do what Jonah Hill did. Stop being the fat guy. Now, yeah. He comes from a theater background. You could tell he did a voice for The Office or whatever. The thing is that if you don't want to be that guy, act. Be somebody different. Christian Bale played Dick Cheney, and a very believable.
That guy's got amazing acting talent.
That's some range right there. Absolutely. Yeah. He played Batman. I would say the best Batman, only because of the little weird voice that he had. Of course, a billionaire thinks that's what intimidation sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
The probably one of the better Batman trifectas of all time. Obviously, Heath Ledger nailed it with the Joker, so they kind of were out acting each other. So they got like the best of the best kind of crew right there as far as that movie went. But Brian Austin Green has never done that where he's like, oh, man, people keep trying to typecast me. He's not typecasted in this movie. He's in range of what he's looking like. Now, his delivery of lines is also what the character should sound like, too. So
did you ever watch Last Night? Did you watch the first movie I did with Brian?
I did not. No.
That movie actually opened up a lot of different doors for Brian too, because Brian was taken really serious in the television world.
Mm-hmm.
Leading man in film, he wasn't yet. So his manager actually told me like that movie that we did together Last Night started to open up even more doors for him, because completely not his character. I've had so many people watch that movie and say, I forgot that was Brian from 90210.
Man, that's a good feeling though, honestly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Let me check out the description. Maybe you could describe the plot of the movie real quick for us if you have enough time to do that, because that sounds like, when you take a movie and you take a star like him to get him to kind of break into that kind of character role. Mm-hmm. Last of Night, is this the one? This is the horror thriller film about a burnt out high school teacher, Brian Austin Green, who during the pandemic overhears his students mocking him on a Zoom call and seeks revenge, leading to violent confrontations at the school. Directed by Nick Leisure, the movie explores themes of mental health and isolation, with the teacher targeting specific students who are particularly cruel. It's known for its violent scenes and commentary. Now, this sounds outstanding, even because we all remember the pandemic, okay? So you're not going to forget that part of your life where there was no other way to teach kids. And when kids just want to talk smack, now you got the teacher who, I'm guessing, single guy, because, you know, you want to keep him single in the movie. That's just my best educated guess. You don't want him battering off dialogue with a wife and her to calm him down and take him from up here to down here. You want him to stay up here, but you want his face to stay like calm, like he doesn't know a fucking thing. The intensity has to be there. And if it's delivered correctly, which with your cut, let's try it again. How many times did you have to try a scene with him again to get it the way that you wanted to get it?
Yeah, I really last night, Brian did incredible. But there were little tricks that I did with them because we shot it during COVID. And, you know, it was also inspired by a real teacher, but didn't take it that far. But a friend of mine was a principal at a high school in Sacramento, and I happened to visit him. And he was telling me I had a teacher that was really burnt out and wanted to come use the facilities and the gym and stuff like that, and was going through a divorce. And I said, you know, that might be a really cool movie, because we always see these kids that come to school with guns and shoot the place up or whatever, but we never talk about what mental illnesses teachers can actually go through and the stress that they have to deal with. And I said, this might be a good twist on a movie that we could do during COVID, and kids weren't in school, so we had the schools available to shoot in.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
With that idea, and yeah, his character goes through a divorce, and he's got a daughter that he's trying to see during that time period, and his ex is making it really hard for him to see her. And then he's trying to teach classes on Zoom, and the kids are, you know, not paying attention, and they're screwing off, and they're making fun of him, and they have little breakout rooms that they go to, and they think that he's going to get coffee, and he's overhearing them talk about how they're going to break into the school and have a paintball war at the high school, and he decides to join them and surprise them. But he brings more than paintballs, and ends up,
Nice.
so yeah, it gets pretty crazy. But there were moments when we filmed that I actually thought Brian was incredible as an actor, that I never saw coming. And there were specific nights that I knew I was shooting certain scenes where he starts to really get twisted and lose it, and started telling the PAs, like, don't give him his coffee, because we were shooting all night long. We'd show up at like 6 p.m. and leave at like 6 or 7 in the morning. So we got there when the sun was going down, and then we left when the sun was already up. And so there were scenes that I shot with Brian at like 2:30 in the morning. And when I really wanted him to seem really off, I would tell him, don't give him any coffee. No, and he would kind of get mad at me, like, what's going on? Like, why
it's like Nick's being a dick today.
like, no, just trust me. Don't drink any coffee right now. You know what I mean? And then it's like he'd start to kind of like lose it a little bit mentally. But you could see it when you watch that movie. You can see it, especially there's a turning point in the movie where he stops with the students in the hallway, and he has.
Oh God, I thought you were gonna say where he stops at a Starbucks and gets a coffee. I'm like, yeah, that's a weird part of the movie.
He walks down this school.
I will get my own coffee now. You said.
It turns out he's not really into coffee. He's into the pink drinks.
So there is a really cool point in the movie, though, when he's in the middle of the school in the middle of the night, and he's in the hallway with all these students, and it's the point in the movie where shit really starts to go bad, and you can see it in his face, and you can see it in his facial expressions and everything, where you're like, oh, that's good. Like, he definitely didn't have his coffee tonight. Like, so yeah, if you haven't seen that one, watch that one.
Of course. Now we're gonna wrap this up. I know you got it's getting kind of late for you, but of course, Golden coming out in the next couple days.
March 20th.
March 20th. Okay. So today's the 2nd. That comes out in 18 days. So about 2.5 weeks out. You already red carpeted?
Yep. Well, red carpet will be on the 19th, the day before.
19th. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you did it like the week before or a couple days like ahead of time. But did you have an idea on where you wanted to go with that one, or?
Yeah, we're doing the red carpet at the Lemley Royal on Santa Monica Boulevard in LA. I believe if you
Okay.
go online to their site, there may be some tickets left. You know, maybe. Yeah, I know they're selling out pretty fast. We just put it out 2 days ago that there are some public tickets available for purchase. But it's
No, where can you get that at?
go to just look online, Lemley Royal, go to their actual website or follow me on social media. You know, I'm on Instagram under Nick Leisure, and then grab some tickets. Come see us.
That's very exciting. Very cool.
All the cast will be there.
And then you have the another movie coming out in about what 4 to 6 weeks.
In July, I have New Year's Absolutions coming out. So that one's going to be very limited theaters, and then straight to streaming after that.
Mhm.
And we have The Last Bride with Charlotte Kirk, which that one we just took to EFM, and it's with AMP right now. So we're figuring out where that's going to go. I think we're going to do a red carpet premiere in the UK.
Nice. Well, of course, we appreciate you, especially with your time. You're an amazing guest. So, I mean, you made it very easy for us.
You guys are fun.
Practically a day off, Tony.
Didn't get to hear Sparky talk at all.
Ah!
You guys are fun. I get it. I mean, that's cool. And hopefully next time I talk to you guys, I will not have had a drug habit yet, alcohol, or rehab.
You better get a private jet though on an island.
Post-Epstein list.
Yeah. Well, get your hands a little dirty there, Nick. You know.
Yeah, there's a pre-list and a post-list.
Well, fight some dogs for the love of God. You know, I heard Michael Vick's house is still for sale out there. You know, only because of all the ghost dogs that keep barking around and shit. You know, it keeps everybody up in the neighborhood.
I heard people are throwing old Hollywood parties all over the hill somewhere. So
hey, if that's what they're calling it today, is a Hollywood party at the Neary house.
Old Hollywood party. But of course, we appreciate your time and your leisure as well, Nick Leisure. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for coming on. We appreciate you.
Great time.
Sparky, where can you find us if you're looking for us, sir?
You can find us on every single major streaming platform, including Spotify, Spreaker, Deezer, Castbox, GeoReo, iHeart, YouTube, Google, Amazon. You can find us on Facebook Live Video.
Anything, anywhere you stream.
He does speak.
He does.
Sparky probably doesn't have any pants on though, huh?
No, not at all.
Probably not. No.
He's been sitting there with a raging, well, anyways.
He is in his toy room, so.
Yeah, after 3 more hours, he's got to call a doctor.
That's true.
All right, guys.
Sparky, not the blue pill again. All right, guys, we are the Podguyz Podcast, of course, every Monday, 10:15 Eastern Standard Time, bringing you some of the best interviews in the entertainment community, of course. Big shout out to Nick Leisure. Thank you very much. Charles Sherman as well. Love that dude. Amazing. Guys, we'll catch you next week, next Monday, 10:15 Eastern Standard Time. Have a great night.
Later.
Bye.